Hi, I'm Cherie Yanek, Churchill Librarian. Today we are reading The Rumor, a Jataka Tale from India. This is by Jan Thornhill. I like this story a lot. Anyone who likes animals, stories with a moral, folk tales, I think you'll enjoy this one. Let's get a little closer so you can see all the pictures. Long, long ago, in India, a young hare lived in a sun-dappled grove of palm and mango trees. This hare was a worrywart. She worried about food. She worried about rain. She worried about her eyes being green. She worried and fretted about everything. Sounds like it. I know some people who worry about everything just like this. One day, she was curled up in her favorite spot in the shade to have a nap. Nap time was when she did the best worrying. And this time a scary thought occurred to her. What if the world breaks up, she wondered. What will happen to me? Just then a ripe mango broke free from a branch and crashed down on the crunchy old palm frond behind the hare. It made such a loud sound she thought it was an explosion. Oh no, she cried. The world is breaking up. Leaping to her feet, she ran through the palm and mango grove as fast as her hippity-hoppity legs could carry her. She was so frightened she didn't look back to see what had made the noise, not even once. She just ran. The worrywart hare passed another hare who was nibbling on flowers. Why are you running? He called out to her. Without slowing down, she answered. The world is breaking up. Run for your life. Oh no, cried the second hare, and took flight alongside her. As they ran farther and farther through the palm grove, one hare after another heard the rumor that the world was breaking up. One by one, they joined in the race to escape until there were 1,000 hares puttering along together. So you could see all of those hares just running as fast as they can. Right? And let's just take a pause. What could have that first hare done to see if the world was actually breaking up? And what about the second hare and the other hares? Do you think they could have asked maybe, how do you know the world's breaking up? So let's see how this rumor spreads. Eventually, the hares ran from the palm grove into the the home of the boars. They passed a boar who was rooting in the soil with his snout. Why are you running? He shouted. The world is breaking up, one of the hares answered. Run for your life. Oh no, grunted the boar and took flight alongside the hares. As the frightened animals ran, one boar after another heard the rumor and joined the crowd until there were 1,000 boars and 1,000 hares all crashing through the thicket together. Eventually the hares and the boars ran from the thicket into the marshland, home of the deer. They passed a deer browsing on tender leaves. Why are you running? She called out. The world is breaking up, one of the boars answered. Run for your life. Oh no, cried the deer and took flight alongside the hare and boars. As the frightened animals ran, one deer after another heard the rumor and joined in the crowd until there were 1,000 deer, 1,000 boars, and 1,000 hares all splashing across the marshland together. Does not seem like a good idea at all. Eventually, the hares and boars and deer ran from the marshland into the forest, home of the tigers. They ran by a tiger basking in the sun. What do you think is going to happen next? Why are you running? He shouted. The world is breaking up, one of the deer answered. Run for your life. Oh no, bellowed the tiger and took flight alongside the hare and boars and deer. As the frightened animals ran, one tiger after another heard the rumor and joined the crowd until there were 1,000 tigers, 1,000 deers, 1,000 boars, and 1,000 hares all pounding through the forest together. Eventually, the animals all ran from the forest into the brushland, home of the rhinoceroses. They ran past a rhinoceros tearing leaves off a shrub. Why are you running? She called out to them. The world is breaking up, one of the tigers answered. Run for your life. Oh no, squeaked the rhinoceros and took flight alongside the others. As the frightened animals ran, one rhinoceros after another heard the rumor and joined the crowd until there were 1,000 rhinoceroses, 1,000 tigers, 1,000 deer, 1,000 boars, and 1,000 hares all thundering across the brushland. This does not seem like a good thing, does it? Eventually, the huge stampede of animals from the brushland ran into the open plain, home of the lions. The great rumble interrupted a lion who'd been quietly grooming himself. "Why are you running?" he shouted when the animals were close enough to hear. "The world is breaking up," a rhinoceros answered. "Run for your life." Now this lion, although he was quite young, was nonetheless very wise. So instead of joining the crowd without question, he looked far off beyond the stampede for a sign that the world was indeed breaking up. Don't you think this is a good idea, like maybe one of the other animals should have done this before? He saw no signs. He saw nothing. There were no explosions in the distance. There was no smoke, no fire. The lion thought to himself, these animals are in such a panic, somebody's going to get hurt. That was very wise of him. So he ran to the head of the stampede, opened his giant mouth, and roared his loudest roar. So you can see that right there. As everyone knows, if there's one thing scarier than the world breaking up, it's the roar of a lion. So naturally, all the animals dug in their hooves and paws and claws and skidded to a stop. When the dust had settled and everyone had untangled themselves and it was completely quiet, the lion turned to the rhinoceros. "Who saw the world breaking up?" he asked. "The tigers know all about it," said the rhinoceros. The lion asked the tigers. The tigers shrugged and said, "Ask the deer." The deer put the blame on the boars. The boars said they heard it from the hares. The lion turned to the hares. "So," he said, "which one of you saw the world breaking up?" "It was her!" The hares all cried out together, pointing to the young worrywart hare. The lion faced the young hare. "Well," he said in his deep, rumbly lion voice. Though the worrywart hare was quivering in fear, she told the lion she'd heard the world breaking up while she was napping in the palm and mango grove. "And what did the world breaking up look like?" asked the lion. "That's a great question they should have asked a while ago." "I don't really know," admitted the hare. "I was so scared I just ran." Said the wise lion. He turned to the rest of the animals. "All you wait here," he said. "The hare and I will go and see if the world really is breaking up." So you can see them right there. The lion put the worrywart hare on his back. "Hold on tight," he said. Then he raced like the wind over the plain and brushland, through the forest trees, across the marshland and thicket, not once stopping until they arrived at the palm and mango grove. "Show me where you were napping," said the lion. The hare pointed to her favorite spot in the shade. The lion padded over to take a look. "Aha," he said. There, lying on a crunchy old palm frond, was a freshly fallen mango. "You must have heard this mango fall, not the world breaking apart." "Oh," said the hare in a tiny voice. She felt foolish. The lion put her on his back again, and off they raced to tell the others. Through the palm grove and thicket, over the marshland, through the forest to trees and brushland, and out onto the open plain, were the 1,000 rhinoceroses, the 1,000 tigers, the 1,000 deer, the 1,000 boars, and the 1,000 hares were all waiting to hear the juicy details about the world breaking up. "What a silly mistake," said the lion. "Didn't any of you check to see whether or not the world really was breaking up?" The rhinoceroses looked at their toes and shuffled their feet. The tigers cleaned their whiskers. The deer whistled with silly tunes. The boars nudged their snouts in the ground. The hares looked up at the sky and hummed. Everybody was pretty embarrassed. "The world's fine," the lion said kindly. "There's absolutely nothing to worry about. Go home now, everyone." So that's everyone going home to this page. And so they did. The 1,000 rhinoceroses returned to their home in the brushland. The 1,000 tigers to theirs in the forest, the 1,000 deer to the marshland, the 1,000 boars to the thicket, and the 1,000 hares to the palm and mango grove. When the worrywart hare got home, she was very tired. All that excitement and running and missing her nap had worn her right out. She was so tired that when she curled up in her favorite spot in the shade of the palm and mango trees, she went right to sleep without worrying about anything at all. So this was The Rumor. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening and keep on reading.